Hello everybody and welcome back to Surviving Mars. Our colony is looking fine so far. The only thing that's missing is, well, human life. So far only robots are working here and this is about to change. First of all, we have actually everything prepared. So we do have the oxygen, we do have the water. Energy during nighttime is a bit of a difficulty, so let's just fix that real quickly with having a few more wind turbines. I love these wind turbines because they, well, give you quite a nice sort of energy. Actually they cost me the 2 machine parts. I don't have that much of it anymore, so we should be careful about that. Now, while that is happening, my explorer can continue with the next anomaly that we have down here. And as we can see, underground metals and the metal deposit are available to us now as well. Beautiful, especially the metal deposit. 2 of them we have now because we're going to need lots of them. We have our 2 domes that have also a connection with power and water. We have a beautiful ornament in front of it, so people are being greeted. The only thing that we want here still is a connection between the domes so that people can walk from one dome to another one without having to leave or without having to use, you know, kind of like an exosuit or something like that, so that we have it a passage going just from one side to the other one, so they are then being connected, and these domes then kind of like function as one. So if you have service buildings in one building and the apartments in the other dome, it still counts as one dome then, kind of, you know. So each of these domes, well, they do have some stats, as we can see. So they do have a comfort level, they do have a morale level, and they do have a health level, and if you connect them, you also connect those stats with each other. Very important for futures planning them. We have finished all the exploration around us, so as we can see, the last anomaly here is being finished. We can continue with a few more explorations then on these sides, perhaps this one here as well, but other than that, those guys here, those fields there are rocks, so we don't need that for now, or hills. We can also go up there on the hills there later if we want to. Right now it's still a limiting factor. Energy wise, we should now, yeah, the solar panels are coming online. As we can see, during daytime we have a surplus. Next resource is being finished, the drone hub then soon. But also I want to reduce the amount of energy that I consume during night. Or well, I want to increase my production even during night. So the next wind turbine is coming online there. We do need still a power cable for this one as well, for this row there that we have. Beautiful so far. Now for the domes, we have to prepare a few things. First of all, we do need apartments, living quarters, stuff like that. Apartments are not available to us yet. They need the low G high-rise research types. So far we have the living quarter and the complex, and both of them have different stats. So this one here houses way more people, 14, but has lower comfort levels. This one here houses only 4, but has a very high comfort rate. So, well, residents recover more quickly and stuff like that. I think for first, let's just have a living complex, right? So morale is, yeah, I think it's fine. So we can have that one. And let's have the first apartment complex just on this side, as we can see. So that we have the apartment. We can have another apartment in here and another one here for this dome. This dome here will be our food production and research. For now, we have the low G lab here, which we can build outside, which is pretty cool, but we can have also the research lab, which we can build within a dome. Now the research lab produces, I think it needs more people per shift, and it costs less though, the research lab, so that's a big advantage there to us. Generates the research. So let's go with a research lab. We can have that in the major dome, so in the dome where the first, oh that was quick, our first apartment is actually already finished, and as we can see, this is where people can then live in those beautiful apartments there. So yeah, let's actually go with the next ones right away since it's so quickly. Having a little research lab for now. Later I will specialize these domes even further, right? So right now we cannot afford that much, so I rather have everything close together. Another very important thing for the dome itself is a space bar. So with the space bar, people can drink something, hang out there, just enjoy their time, and in this case very important to have it to increase the morale at all times. Another thing that we might want to have is some parks. So we have gardens like this one here, right? In this tile we could put a garden. And I think just behind the bar, it might be a good idea to have a few gardens here and there. right? So this is recreation where people can enjoy the day and just relax and stuff like that. Another thing that we might need is a grocer. So this is where people can purchase food. And let's have the grocer on this side. So we do have the grocer. Oh wait, actually, let's have the grocer on the other side, the small grocer only for now, because this is where the resources are coming in then. Here, this dome will be our food production for now. So what we need to have here for the food is a ranch. We can have an outside ranch as well, or we have the inside ranch that consumes oxygen and water, but the inside costs me less. You know, so in this case here, it only costs me metal and concrete. This one here costs lots of polymers. Let's have our first ranch that we can have just on this dome here. Meanwhile, far outside, we have found another anomaly. So let's send the explorer to this anomaly here, researching something new. Speaking of research, let's have a look there. We have the fuel compression, so the rocket cargo can carry more stuff. The autonomous sensor, very important, and the advanced drone drive. The drones move 40% faster. Exactly what we want. And each time you finish one of these researches, well, we unlock new researches, and it's always random, so it never is really the same. You always have different tags available, which is pretty cool. This one here is important, wind turbine upgrade, so the power production is increased by 33% for the wind turbines. Well, if we're not doing that, we're not doing it. And the farm, very important. With the farm, we can have a more efficient food production. So the ranch, of course, will not be enough, the ranch only. And as we can see, the spacebar is ready, fully constructed, needs people to work in, so right now no one is working there. The research lab is finished as well. We can then assign here different shifts to it if we have more people and we have more parks. And I think since we only can house 14 in there, another apartment might be a good idea, right? Let's go with another apartment still. How's the resources looking? Pretty fine, especially electronics. We have lots of electronics available. And since the living quarter here, the apartment complex, has low morale, let's actually build the living quarters, which have the high morale. So we can squeeze 3 in here into one of these blocks. And as we can see, it is actually, they house then in total 2 less people, so 2 fewer people there. So it's 12 in total. This one here is 14 in total, but it has lower comfort ratings. I don't know how about I feel that. So I'd rather go with the smaller ones. And that should be fine. Now, the dome is ready. We do actually also have a bit of food there available. In that case, we can transport more food than with the rocket as well. So I think it is time. It is time. We are ready to have our first colonists on this planet. Let's do it. Passenger rocket, there it is. And now we get applicants from Earth who want to join the Mars Initiative. And those people here, well, they have different traits. This one here, for example, is sexy, so he's greatly increased birth rate, melancholic, and hypochondriac, so he will randomly visit medical buildings just for fun. This one here, Paulette Christian, is an engineer, very important. So there we have the specializations as well. We have the botanist, we have the medic, we have the engineer, the geologist, and the scientist, and then we have one with no specialization. So those people, they just do random work wherever it's available. Those guys here with the speciality, the scientist is good for the research, for example. The engineer is good for the the electronics factory, and so on. The botanist is good for the farms and the animal farms and stuff like that. So we should have a large variety of these people on the planet. Now let's choose a few. And after a bit of selecting, we have now a full crew of 12 people. So we have 3 engineers, 3 scientists, 3 botanists, 1 medic, 1 geologist, and 1 without specialization. A nice mix of all the professions, especially the scientists are important since they boost our research, and the botanists, which will be responsible for the food production early on. And with that, we have the 12 people on board. I think that's all we can do. We cannot really, in this passenger rocket, we cannot really send anything with them. I think a bit of food is coming with them as well. But other than that, it's fine. And with that, we can actually launch them. Now, the first rocket is on its way. We, however, still have a second rocket. And since I have so much fuel, I don't care. We can send the second one right on the way as well. And the second rocket will have lots of food. that we need. So let's say 60 food for now. Some machine parts we still need as well. Some polymers, some electronics, because we're going to build some factories there, and for those reasons we do need some resources there as well, costing us a bit, so the funding is still looking fine, but we should be careful about anything else here. A few more drones, yeah, and with that we have the second rocket on its way, so 2 rockets on the way to our little colony here, and with that hopefully then a nice lively town. 12 people are coming, so we have enough building space for all of them. These apartments look amazing, though I don't feel comfortable with them. It looks like everybody can watch me sleeping then at some point. I guess my people like it because comfort ratings are pretty high for those things. The apartments have a better privacy in here, but well, who am I to judge, right? Now what the dome still needs is the storage. So we do need some storage close to the dome. Whenever we produce some food, for example, it will be then delivered right towards my dome. So let's have it rather in the center, because this is where, you know, both domes will then get their resources from. And a bit of waiting later, both rockets are now available. They're in the orbit, so let's have them landing. This one is... Can we see which one is which? This one is the passengers, very good. And this one is our cargo, where we have lots of food and stuff like that. Let's watch them as the first people are landing on Mars for the first Martian colony. And there they are, in all their glory, jumping happily around. Who is the first one? Helena Koch is our first Martian. And then the other ones are joining in happy fashion, running towards their domes. This one has only money on his mind, it seems. And as they have a beautiful view actually here with the obelisk and with the statue there, I think this is a nice welcoming sign for those guys here. We have lots of food, 100 food available for them, so they should be safe for quite some time. And a new beginning.
Hope and determination. The first founders have set foot on the Red Planet.
And the next 10 souls will be full of difficulties and dangers, but also with great promises and opportunities. It is now to us to prove that Mars can be a doorway to greater riches and the future of the human civilization. Even the most epic adventures begin with a single step. And the arrival of additional colonists temporarily suspended until the colony proves able to sustain human life, and the colony will be evaluated positively before the period ends in the event the first human is born on Mars. So now we cannot get any more Martian-borns on this, any more people on this planet here. We have the founder stage for 9 souls and 22 hours. That means they need to feel comfortable first before we can do anything else. And I hope they will. We have a medic as well, and we haven't even gotten a nursery so far. Oh, it's not the nursery, that is for the children. But we do have the infirmary, so visitors will recover health and sanity as long as they are not starving, dehydrated, freezing, or suffocating. Oh god, I hope that nothing of this happens. And let's have our first infirmary also here in the center of my... Oh, actually, wait a second, because I have a nice building for that. Ah, yeah, let's have the building over here, because we do have a modded building that we can already use then for our Martians. That is a glass house, so this is a residential space for 4 only, but it increases the comfort of all people in the dome by +1. And look at that, that is a pretty nice building that we have. At least I think so. Let's... do we? Yeah, let's build it. And as we can see, the first guy is already working at the small grocer now. The first people are living in the complexes, also some in the living quarter, 1 at least. There are 2 now working in the small space bar, and in the research lab we have now 3 scientists available that are boosting our research output. Very good. So it's not working right now because it's nighttime. As we can see, the second shift, we could turn them on, and then people could work there as well if we have more scientists than working for that. And over here, our ranch, as we can see, 2 botanists are working there right now, 1 medic and 1 geologist. And they're now producing the food here, 25 for the goose, for example. We could then choose more, like the chicken. So this is, you know, they changed them between those types of animals here. Right now the goose is producing 45 food in 4 souls. The chicken is producing 5 food each day. right? So in that case, the goose seems pretty good to me. So we're just going to have the goose for now in the ranch to start producing us a bit of food. Here we can see the food then outside, just outside the dome. And my drones are busy, and those guys here now hopefully are fine. So hopefully now the medic will then switch over to the infirmary. This is where he belongs. So we get the next building ready. A botanist is working in there right now. That is not good. So I don't know why that's the case. We do have a medic here. And this medic should then be working. There he is. Right, there's the medic. And the other guys, the botanists, will then work in the ranch. Meantime, our rockets are finally able to launch again, so it's time to send the first one off to Earth. But for the second one, we might actually have a look at the planet itself outside.
Sector scanned.
Because out here we do have capture meteors to trigger a meteor shower that will yield some valuable resources, metals, rare metals, and anomalies. Random location, so we have a small colony at the moment, so I'm hoping that not too many things are being hit, but I'm especially interested in the rare metals and the anomalies that speed up our research. So we are taking now Avril 1, which is ready, and send it on this expedition. So now that rocket here is on the expedition, it is now requiring 60 fuel, just as stated in the mission overview, and as we can see, my drones are doing the job, so it's going to take that and then get over there to that mission site and capture meteors, however it is doing that. No idea. It sounds pretty cool though. We've also finished now that the sensor no longer requires energy, so we can have a few more of them to speed up our scanning rate. So let's have a look outside here again. We have a bit of space down here as well. I think my drone command, yeah, up to this point there, we could have another sensor tower about here, because that is still within its range, and the rocket is on its way. How very nice to finally start our first expedition. Going to take a while, so we can see it then down here. There it is, and there we can see also the time it takes. That is 2 sols and 11 hours. I imagine that this dust devil here is looking pretty scary for those colonists here. It's looking cozy in here. Nice area, also a few parks and trees here, but that thing out there, I would be scared. Luckily, it's not coming any closer, is it?
On an alien world, that takes guts, to say the least.
After all, purpose is the strongest long-term driver. Since arriving on Mars, Leonard Brinker's enthusiasm has proven to be above average, even by founders' norms, and the prodigious productivity displayed can be boiled down to one simple explanation: Leonard Brinker really loves doing what Leonard Brinker doing. The founder Leonard Brinker has the enthusiast trait. Well, that's the spirit. That's what we want. And we've also finished another research. The drones move now 40% faster. I'm absolutely okay with that. And I think also, yeah, our first gooses are going to be ready to be butchered. We can slaughter finally some goose. And I think it's happening today. Yeah, so it's in the last stages of it. Then we get the first 23 food coming in. And we started with 100 food. And as we can see, we have a surplus of food production right now. Because, yep, there it is. Look at them. This is fantastic. The goose get out and boxes appear. The first goose are coming in. And as we can see, because we are not fully staffed, we don't have the full food production for this one. But still, we produced more food so far than we consumed, which is a good thing. But trust me, it's getting a bit more difficult later, especially when, well, the first Martian borns appear. Milestone achieved as well, because we produced now the first food on Mars. Our research production is still pretty stable. We have a fully staffed research lab. That is all we need to speed up a nice decent research. The next one will be the farm, so we can already expand our food production then, and the oxygen production increase here, something that we should be going with as well. And the first Martian born already? After 3 days, they're already trying to produce new Martian borns. You kidding me? Well, that is very good. So we got the first Martian born. I think this is now finishing our first steps, so we can finally get more people coming in here now. We also have the first trade route with Paradox Interactive. What? and they would trade 232 food for 50 polymers.
No active research.
We wouldn't want to do that now. And our project has finished, so we now have a meteor storm coming in 1 sol and 8 hours. That's going to be interesting. The region is about to experience a meteor storm. Buildings directly hit by meteors will be in need of repairs in order to function again. But the upside of this one is that we get some anomalies that speed up even more research. And since we have completed the first special project, we get, well, you guessed it, another 500 research points that finishes our current research right away. I love how these things are coming together. So let's have a look what new research we might be going for. Well, one thing is the passenger rockets can carry 10 more colonists. That is fine, so we can grow faster with that. Another thing is the in-dome buildings require maintenance less often. So with this, we would continue down the path here for the engineers, where we have lots of tech available then soon. The biotech, as we can see, not that much tech so far. The moisture evaporator water production increased by 50%, not the best one. Let's then have the Fungal Farm that produces food outside of the dome, saving us a bit of space there. And over the social tech, we might go with one of these specializations. So the scientists and the botanists have 10% performance or 10 plus performance when working in the specialty. Very important, pretty cool, because with this we can boost our research even further and our food production. The door towards the stars, a new story.
For the first time, a human has been born on Mars. It's truly a unique miracle.
It is, and the colonists have always felt like a family. The colony has been evaluated positively. Additional colonists can be called from Earth, and let this blooming of life serve as a symbol for all humans. Mars is no longer a dead world. That was pretty quick, the first colonist and the first Martian born then right away. The thing is with the Martian borns, you know, the more you have, the more you get, because they reproduce even more quickly over time, and you need to cope with the food and stuff like that. Now, capture the meteors. We have succeeded with that, and the water chip. That is an event. The terminal softly beeps, indicating that the water chip of one of the domes has failed. The chip controls the water recycling for Liebig 1. Without it, water consumption there will increase by 400%. That's why my water is down. Cost me 250 to import a new one. Will arrive in 2 sols. Let's do that. It's a safer bet. This one, lucky we do have water tanks, and those water tanks are full, so we can use the water from these tanks for the moment for, I think, this dome here right now. And what we can do now, finally we can call more passengers. Now I'm going to have the research then that carries more passengers, but until then, let's try to take them ourselves. This time I want to go with a few more engineers, because we can finally start our factories then. With those we can produce then mechanical parts and chips and stuff like that. So let's go with some engineers. This one here is a gamer, so recovers sanity when gaming. Let's take him. We're going to have a game center then at some point. This is a nerd. Gains a temporary morale boost every time a new technology is researched. Pretty cool, and he's a workaholic. Let's go with that. Let's go with 4 to 5 engineers if we have them available. This one eats double rations. Oh, that's fine. This one is an alcoholic. Let's rather not go with the alcoholic. And another gamer, so we will definitely need a gaming station then. I would also like to go with 3 more scientists to have a second shift on my research lab, to boost up my production to double that. Then we have a scientist. He's a survivor. That means he doesn't take really much penalty from anything. This one is pretty good too. He's rugged and a survivor. So he's got no comfort penalties, and he loses less sanity. And he's sexy, so greatly increases the birth rate, but he's also melancholic. No, this one's a nerd. Let's go with this one. So we have 3 more scientists, 4 engineers, and for the first time, let's also go with some geologists. So this is a hippie. He gets twice as much comfort in gardens. Perfect, we have gardens. I love me some hippies. The geologists will work outside then in my mining stations and the rare metal production especially. She's a glutton, she's loner, loses comfort every day while we're living in a dome with population over 30. Alright, this is not going to happen for now, so it's fine. Workaholic. It's fine too. 3 geologists, let's have 1 more. And I think another botany cannot hurt, so this one here is greatly, he's sexy and a hippie. let's take this one. And we got 12 new colonists coming towards us. So we have then a second shift available for the research lab. My ranch will have, doesn't need actually another shift, but we can use a farm then. Or there's even something else that we can do, and that is the Hydroponic Farm. We can either go with that or with the farm. So the farm would be then in this dome here, and the Hydroponic Farm that produces a bit of food. We could actually have 2 of those here in this dome there. But so far so good, everything is working out. The next colonists are coming and new dangers await, especially that meteor storm. Boy, I have no idea how that ends. Stay tuned.